David, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Good. Is this wrong?
There you go.
There it is. How's it going?
Good. How about yourself?
Good, thanks.
Where you at? LA?
I'm in Nashville at the moment.
Oh, Nashville. What's going on in Nashville?
Not much. I moved to Nashville.
Really? When did that happen?
Uh, like just a few months ago.
Okay. Just change of scenery or stuff, or you like the place?
Yeah, my wife's from the South, so
Makes sense.
she wanted to move here.
There you go. Well, that's good. I mean, as long as everything's good, now it's everything's rough with the quarantine and, things around the country. So as long as you're good with family, that's all that matters.
Yeah, totally. How you doing?
I'm good.
Where are you, LA?
I was in LA, but yeah, I left LA in July and back home in Chicago with family for now, for at least the rest of the year, and then see what happens kind of next year.
Totally.
Yeah, at least, it seems like this one thing coming out of this is at least brings you kind of together with family, in one way, which is the good thing about, kind of getting that time that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man, I checked out the film. Dude, that was cool, man. I had no idea about Jackie Ryan's story. I follow basketball. I'm a fan of the game, but you don't hear sometimes about these street guys. I think Lou Williams is one of them, and Rafer Alston back in the day with the Raptors, but you never hear the light of day. Sometimes them making with the skill that they have. Tell me what attracted you to this role, because I thought you were perfect for the role in itself, and what kind of I know you worked with Danny before in a film Mobtown, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So tell me what kind of came about to make you want to do this.
Well, I love Danny as a director in general, and we played basketball. We all love basketball, and he has just such passion for great storytelling. He's such a great storyteller, and he was always really passionate about this story. I love the streetball culture, and he explained to me about Jackie Ryan and the whole the little just running the streets in New York and playing the game and explain the story, and read the script and I just loved it and wanted to be a part of it. It's just a really wonderful story, a love story and love story of basketball, and also a love story, for his relationship that, led to him having a daughter and sort of continuing the tradition of basketball. So no one loves basketball more than Jackie Ryan.
It's unbelievable, because, and the thing is, it's relatable because he's so flawed in so many ways. He made mistakes, and then kind of he recovers and finds himself, so maybe ultimately his dreams don't come true of being an NBA, but man, I think he kind of discovered himself along the way and his purpose in life too, which was cool to see in that setting too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got a passion for it that I mean, I can understand. When you love basketball, you love just that world. I mean, when I was filming Mobtown, it's funny. I on my days off, I'd play basketball at this. It was right by this Gold's Gym, and they had a basketball court there. And I was trying to lose weight, and I'd just play basketball. And during this one, I'd play basketball on my time off, and I don't know. It's something that that's one of the main things I miss about this whole quarantine thing or this whole COVID thing. Like, I haven't played basketball in forever, and I can't wait to be able to get back out there.
Is it kind of an escape for you to play ball, to just kind of get away and just, I think it's the best when you just kind of run into a community, with locals and just pick up a ball. You bond that way, you get that sense of community too. Just pick up a basketball kind of with a random stranger, right? I mean, there's something about it.
Yeah, there definitely is. It's funny. I used to always go and try to do pickup games and try to do that. I'm not the greatest basketball player, and I'm kind of awkward, but I love defense and I play a lot. And so that's been missing. It's definitely a hole in the thing. It's hard to get a game of football together. You know what I mean? For one, the tackling, unless you're playing flag football, and it's kind of aggressive sometimes. I mean, basketball can be aggressive too, don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah, depends where you're playing.
Yeah. I used to be able to play with a bunch of, all my friends, sort of, you have these different groups of friends that play basketball. You try to find the different games.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about, like, I kind of guess, you do it when you're younger, you just get a crew of your friends, or you're in college or high school or not. But then as you go older, kind of everyone separates, and it's tough to get these games, together. Everyone's got lives and families later on, but it takes you back in time when you're able to get that opportunity to just kind of hang out with the boys, and shoot hoops or play some football. It's that kind of inner child in you that comes out.
Yeah, and the trash talking, the joking like that happens. Especially if you play multiple games, they're all just hanging out and sort of doing it. That's where it really gets fun.
Did you get to meet the real Jackie Ryan? Was he around set or anything like that? Did you get an opportunity? Yeah. Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was around set a few times, and I asked him about his father because I'm a racist in this movie. I mean, he's like. It was at a time, and I asked him, was your dad like this blatant racist? He was like, yeah, he was. It's just sort of the honesty of the way he wanted to tell the story, and what was going on in that time period, and now today. So it was I don't know. It was interesting to be able to ask him about it. And like, I was like, did you ever sort of make up with your father? He's like, no, we never really made up, to be honest with you. I was like, what do you think? Like, I don't know. It's so foreign to me to have such a anger toward your child, or like this, sort of I don't know, to not just be sort of supportive and understanding, and, to be so hard on him.
Yeah, I wonder why, because he seemed to be supportive of his other kids too,
Yeah, well, he told me, he said, to be honest with you, my dad loved football the way I love basketball. Like, he loved football more than anything. And he was a football player. He wanted me to be a football player, and I was a really good football player, but I didn't like football. I like basketball. And ever since he didn't want to go in the direction of football, his dad kind of took that super personally. I always thought that would be a funnier thing if they would have tied it in a little more to the story.
Yeah, but their relationship was interesting in a sense where, especially later on in the film, where the father kind of takes him in after, in a sense, he realizes he didn't achieve his dream, and kind of brings him back into the fold. I felt like that was a nice turn too. Like, you played it so well, because I felt like the passion coming out of you too, playing the father's character, and there was like a lot of up and down going on too. But I felt like later things really kind of smoothed it out, and it was an interesting kind of dynamic too. How did you approach it? Did you use your kind of fatherly instincts too for that one? Because I felt like it almost felt like you, in a sense, understood not only that, but experienced something like this in your life in some way, because I felt the passion you brought was kind of next level.
Yeah. Being a father definitely helps in a lot of different, especially when you're playing a parent in a film. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could empathize myself personally with Jackie's story a lot, and like how hard letdowns and sort of. So I think, it was easy to sort of put myself in his shoes and feel bad for him. But it's also weird because Big Jack, the character I played, is a real hard ass. Like, he's, not the type to be emotional or sensitive, or what I mean. He's got a lot of walls
shit out the window,
he's a curmudgeon. He's just set in his ways, and kind of like, this is how it's got to be. He's just kind of like a blue collar worker who's just it's about getting a paycheck, it's about working hard, it's about drinking beer, it's about and repeat.
Yeah, in a lot of ways that makes sense. How is Greg Finley? Because he looked like he was popping some shots in the movie. How was his game? How was his basketball game? Because he had some good handles. I'm like, this dude played ball probably at some point.
Oh yeah, Greg's a great basketball player. It's fun. You know, we play with Danny a lot. We got to play when we got back to the city after we filmed. Greg's a great basketball player, and just the he just looks so much like Jackie. You learned a bunch of like the moves, and it's fun. It's fun to just to be able to play. My thing was like I'm older than him. I'm obviously older, but I had to play older, even older. So that was always kind of strange. Going, you know, I look a lot older when I got a lot of hair, you know, facial hair. It's all gray and stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of strange playing the older father now.
Well, that just shows your career, how long it spanned. You know, you play the younger guy over years, you know, and now you're kind of the dad figure too, which is interesting. That it says a lot too about, you know, being in this industry for so long that you've kind of made it through the ringer, you know, to the point.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You know, here, one thing I wanted.
You stick around long enough, you get to play all the
literally.
Things, luckily.
That's a good thing, you know. The thing, man, I saw your documentary, You Cannot Kill David Arquette. That was literally one of the best things I've seen all year long. I absolutely love that. You know, I'm a wrestling fan, a Mark, whatever you call me, since I was a little kid. So for me, you know, growing up in watching wrestling as a kid, that was my childhood, you know. I think I started like at 6, you know, watching wrestling, and to see your journey. I remember your time in WCW. I remember all that was talked about, but man, what you done in that movie, I'm so glad that was documented, you know, your journey of becoming a wrestler, you know, and then your time coinciding with WCW. I was wondering, had you never won the WCW heavyweight title, would you have gone on this journey to prove yourself in a sense and become a professional wrestler? Because I wonder, like, you were a fan and you got that opportunity, and there's a lot of celebrities that kind of, you know, appeared in wrestling as hosts or whatever, had a one-off match and not, but it felt like that kind of fueled you to actually prove everyone. And maybe if you didn't win that title, it would have never fueled you as much. Did you think about that aspect of it?
Absolutely. I would have never done that if I hadn't have, you know, gotten the title as a promotion, you know, to try to help at the time to try to promote my movie Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
And to help sort of the WCW and their promotion. They thought it was a good idea, and you know, but if that had never happened, no, I probably wouldn't have, because I'm just a fan. I love going to the events. I love seeing the show. But you know, as a kid, I did look up and say, oh, that'd be so amazing to, you know, win the belt and be a champion. So you know, the fans' reaction, sort of like the negative reaction, all the stuff. Yeah, it did fuel a fire inside me to like, all right, I'm going to prove myself. I don't like getting pushed around and bullied, and, you know, and I like to be considered one of the guys and be able to hang out and be accepted.
That's all you wanted, right? Just kind of be one of, to see that you respect the profession and you respect the guys in the locker room, just being kind of one of them, right? That's all you wanted ever, it seemed like, from that documentary. Just be accepted and acknowledged.
That's right. That's exactly it. And you know, to sort of love, you know, to go even deeper and love wrestling even more. You know, I love wrestling. You know, since I've done it, I watch even more, and I'm sort of learned even more. I studied some of the stuff, but I'm not like, you know, the kind, like, I don't see every G1 match and, you know, every Impact thing. There's just so much wrestling to stay on top of, but there's a lot of great wrestling out there and a lot of amazing stuff. But when you know, going through this whole process, I was able to study it a lot more and get in touch with it. And, you know,
was that the most challenging?
You get to meet a bunch of the guys as they're sort of going up, and then they go on to the big leagues.
Right. You see them in a documentary. There's so many recognizable faces. They're now either in AEW or Ring of Honor or Impact. It's crazy that they were on the independent scene fully, and now they've elevated to that point during the filming. So that's kind of a cool noticeable thing too. Was that the most challenging thing you've ever done in your life as part of anything, like pushing yourself and just, you know, having that, you know, your family kind of, you know, not wanting to do it and just fighting kind of the world around you just to accomplish this? Was this the biggest challenge you've ever overcame?
Yeah, physically, I mean, yeah, I do think it was. Yeah, it really was. It's so incredibly painful, and like a lot of, just takes a lot of training, a lot of focus, and a lot of determination and sacrifice, and just you go through the ringer. You really do. Yep. And yeah, so it was a lot. It was challenging, but I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about, you know, what I want out of life, and have more confidence in myself, and just sort of, you know, how to sort of go after something really sort of without stepping down, and really believing in yourself.
And you really went through, I mean, you did the death matches, and you really went from the ground up. I mean, you're talking about backyard wrestling. A lot of guys who are in the industry or startup, they don't even go through those levels too. Like, you went literally from the roots, ground up all the way. Maybe, did you have any regrets along the way? I know that you know, you had that horrific thing with your neck that happened during one of the matches. I mean, that's sort of the things that somehow by mistake happen. Any kind of regrets throughout the journey, or things you would have done differently, or do you appreciated everything that happened because it made you be who you are at the end?
No, I definitely have things that I would probably have done differently. So I more so have learned from them. You know, you learn certain things, like in the death match specifically, like stick to the plan, even if something's going kind of crazy. You can't, there's a lot of things out there during that time period. It captured my life at a real sort of like, you know, turning point, and a lot was coming together.
How scared were you for your life? It's unbelievable, because I believe you were with Jungle Boy in the car and Luke on the drive from when you got cut on your neck. I mean, that whole experience, what was that? What do you remember from that moment and kind of those hours that happened afterwards? I mean, because it was terrifying to watch, but I can't even imagine what you were literally going through in that time.
Oh man, it was more so the time period when I got cut, and then till I got out of the rig. Luke told me that it wasn't pumping, so I knew I didn't cut my jugular, but it was still scary. You know, it cut my neck muscle, and you know, I don't know. It's just there's real. Your life does flash before your eyes. I mean, it's not like every second, but you do think about all the sort of things. You know, it does give you a kind of peace, you know, because at some point you're just like, well, that's life, you know, and I think I don't know, it gives you a lot of perspective on what life is about, and how to sort of live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. You know, it's about enjoying your life, and, you know, having good friends and family. What's not important, what is important.
You know, and it's so crazy. Life is so fleeting. Here you were in a moment, you know, of personal, you know, struggle, and there's Luke guiding you, and then, you know, and he's gone, you know, and that just shows kind of how life is fleeting in so many ways, and the moments that we go through things. I didn't even know your friendship with him. How good of friends were you guys? I mean, it's ironic too that Jack is, you know, a professional wrestler too, and you probably saw him coming up as a kid, you know, throughout the years too. What was your kind of relationship with Luke? Because you guys seem just close from even the clips I've seen and heard.
Yeah, we were really close back, you know, years ago when I was 17, 18. He lived at our house, you know. Oh, wow. He lived at our house when he got cast on 90210.
Unbelievable.
He's just a great human being, just a wonderful person. But we hadn't stayed in touch for a long time. I mean, we'd see each other here and there, missed him a lot. You know, we'd pop in. I always knew about Jungle Boy, and, you know, these, you know, I'm not sure if we all went to, I feel like we may have gone to a WWE thing way back. I don't know, but we always watched wrestling and stuff when we lived at the house together, and I'd always heard about Jungle Boy and what he was doing. I was always like amazed. And I asked Luke, I said, what's it like watching him, wrestle? Is it so exciting? He's like, no, it's terrifying. It's like the scariest thing in the world. He's my son. And I'm like, just sort of in fear and really scared the whole time. So I was like, whoa, I didn't think of it like that. But I get it.
I know. How's your relationship with Jack? Do you kind of have a sense of looking out for him now too? I mean, based on your close relationship with Luke and seeing him grow up and being in the industry yourself now, knowing what it takes, and what it is. Do you kind of have a watchful eye over him or follow him or talk to him?
Oh man, Jack's got such a good head on his shoulders, and he's such a smart kid. He's such an incredible wrestler, and he gets it like in a way that I know I still don't, what I mean? He's got such a knowledge for it. But we had some fun stuff. Like we had a ring in my backyard. He'd come over with Peter Avalon and Royce Isaacs. They would just train and just to watch these guys. And that's really kind of one of my favorite parts of the whole journey in wrestling, was those moments where I could just watch them work things out and see what they were doing and sort of just get another glimpse into that world. That it's still kind of such an interesting world. So I don't know. No, I don't really give him advice at all. I'm there for him. I'm a fan. I'm just like, I watch him too, I'm like his biggest fan. So I just think the guy's going to be a movie star someday. He's got such a good head on his shoulders. He's so smart. He's witty. He's like tough as nails, man. He's the way he dealt with death of his father, compared to the way I dealt with some of my loss of my parents, was just super admirable. And just to be able to watch him was really impressive.
Yeah, it's really just a classy family all around. You never hear anything bad about him from anyone, and that says a lot of things. That
they're super big on honor. They're super big on privacy and respect and just, all those things.
What do you feel is like, the wrestling industry now? You kind of been through it and, recently, where do you see it kind of going? Do you think we're maybe at a downturn? I mean, I know the ratings haven't been great and we're in a pandemic, but how do you see the wrestling, now with indies not even being able to kind of go during this time? How do you see wrestling kind of coming out from this time? Do you think we're going to be at a good place going forward, or maybe a drop down?
I don't know. I think wrestling's the best when you find really great talent. You allow them to shine, and show their strengths. You have really interesting booking and there's tremendous talent out there. So if they'll allow them to be free, that's sort of like some of my gripes with, some of the things out there that, you can just feel the hand on the scale a lot. So, but I love, I love the whole wrestling subculture and how much people talk about it and sort of analyze it and take it apart. Wrestling's, I think it has, I think that's a really interesting time, the fact that there are these two. And I think, eventually, definitely things will, I think, AEW and WWE are soon to have a true Monday Night Wars at some point.
Yep, it's coming. It certainly looks like it with the talent. I mean, it's good for the industry to have real competition and have, like WCW was in a day. I think it's good to have two promotions really at the top and one ascending too. It gives an alternative as a fan too to tune in to whatever you want to watch.
I still don't think they do enough with it's funny seeing like them do a music number on AEW with MJF and Jericho. Not to mention that my tag team partner RJ City has been doing those for quite a while. But
that's right.
It was funny to see that. But I love, like, not necessarily that. I think it was fun because change of pace, but I like to see them doing more interesting stuff, like really, building on that. I mean, some of the, when you get these stars like The Rock and Stone Cold, and and they have the potential of having these guys, but you have to like figure out how they became that. Where did you know what I mean? And it's not only that they're great talkers and that they're great performers. It's also that you're in the fans. Right now we don't have fans, so that alone, Drew McIntyre hasn't been able to see the appreciation of him, and then have that drive some of this. But some of the favorite stuff is some of the I don't know, just working their characters into the storyline and then just having it all blow up. And I look forward to when fans are back. What this time period has really shown is how important the fans are.
No question.
It really is all about the fans.
I talked to John Morrison recently.
Oh, he's great, man.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he said that the bumps feel worse now without fans because the adrenaline isn't there to work, because you work through it, and you feel the bumps more now.
They're also, I don't know if it's me or not, but it feels like they're laying them in a little harder, just even since people are gone, or there's an old style. The true old style of wrestling has been when you work with these old pros, you see like how not easy it could be, but how smooth it can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they know the nuances, of how to make it work. That's why they're pros and vets in that sense. I got to ask you before we finish up here about Scream. I mean, it's back. It's never going to die, in a sense. It just keeps on coming. What was it like kind of getting back to it with kind of the original crew now, without Wes, obviously, but having a lot of the originals? And what was the kind of feeling reuniting in a sense and being back on set with everyone?
Well, original cast was, me, Nev, Cordy, and Marley Sheldon, and oh, sorry, sorry about that.
No problem.
So it was interesting, but the crew that was there is completely different. That crew usually was Wes Craven's crew, so this is a new Radio Silence. Matt and Tyler, incredible directors, but it's bizarre. It's 24 years. You don't really, there's not a lot of films that last that long. I also have a daughter as a result of that series. So I don't know. It's
you have a whole family now than you started. Imagine when you started the first time, you became a man. You've had kids. You've had marriages.
And I'm seeing all these incredibly talented new actors, young actors that reminded me of that time period. But they're those guys they have their head on their shoulders, really great, and I don't know, they're really smart, talented people. So I look forward to the world seeing more of them.
Yeah, so it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. It's nostalgia in a way too, but it's seeing you guys evolve over these years too, which is kind of, whoever saw it originally. I'm 35, but I'm like, yeah, I remember original, back in the day too. So it's cool to get that feeling again, and I can imagine it was cool for you guys to kind of bond again and just do it again. Have fun. That's what it's about at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And finally, wanted to ask you, what are some things you like to do as hobby? I know you have so many interests, David. I mean, with wrestling and acting, that's the thing about you, is that you're always yourself, and you bring your full life to your work in a lot of ways. And I always appreciated that. But what are some hobbies or interests that you might have that maybe we don't know about that you kind of like to do in your everyday life when you're not working?
A lot of the time when you're in this business, I don't know, you spend a lot of your time trying to put different projects together. So, we started a documentary company called XTR and with Bryn Mooser, and that's been really exciting. My wife's an amazing producer. She's helping with that and Hwood Media and New Slate Ventures, they're doing a Magic Johnson documentary, which is really exciting. Yeah. And so we just, I don't know, on my own time, I learned how to, I'm a Bob Ross like certified instructor. I can teach people how to paint like Bob Ross.
Yes. How did you get into it? That's so cool.
I do that like mainly for charities, so it's really fun to teach someone how to do it. And I don't know, aside from that, I'm playing basketball once we can do it again.
Simple things in life would matter, at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Like I said, this was an awesome movie. I love the documentary. It's a fantastic look into your life. And I appreciate you always being true to yourself and transparent in your life, which makes you kind of very relatable to everyone in that way,
Oh, thanks, Jim. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Hope to get down, catch up down the road. We can talk some more wrestling. That'd be awesome,
For sure. Yeah,
absolutely, David.
So we can all go to those shows again.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm in Chicago. This is like the hub of wrestling.
I know. There's great stuff. Warrior Wrestling's doing some cool stuff still.
There you go.
Alton Fields and stuff. All right. Take care.
I'll talk to you soon. Take care, David.